Welcome to the culture. We rest at the pulse of the community, providing all things news, music, fashion, events, and everything that we talk about in between. It's a lifestyle. We are the culture. Hi, and welcome to the show today. I'm your host, Jessica Garrett Modkins, and joining me today is Robbie Bell. She is known all across South Florida, as well as the U.S., as the urban lifestyle specialist. Welcome to the show, Robbie.
Well, thank you for having me, Jessica. I'm excited to be here.
It is a pleasure for you to be here. And with everything that's going on in the world, it's so appropriate for us to talk about ownership, real estate, and the market that we're currently in. But let's start and back up a little bit. How did you find yourself in this industry?
Oh, my God. This is a rather clever story and funny story, because I actually retired, and I was traveling all over the world and spending my money like it was going out of style. And then I realized I'm not going to have any more money. And so, what am I going to do? So I actually have people would come to town all the time. I drive them around, take them to show them what Miami looks like and how much fun it is to live here. I do love living here. And then I'd call a real estate agent for them because I was going to work or whatever. And so one of my friends said, Robbie, you showed me more stuff than the real estate agent. Why don't you sell real estate? And I went, that's not a bad idea. So I went and got my license. And I hung my license with, at that time, it was EWM Realty, which is still EWM, but we are now the Berkshire Hathaway brand. We've been owned by Berkshire Hathaway for the last, 15 or years more, but we now carry the brand of Berkshire Hathaway at EWM, which you know is very globally recognized.
Mm-hmm. And how did you get this? It almost seems as if it's a dual title. You are a broker associate.
Oh, yeah. So what happens in the real estate business, you're either a realtor, which is a real estate agent that sells, or you're a broker. Well, the other category is I am a licensed real estate broker. However, I choose not to open an office, hang my license, and do all the other paperwork that's necessary. I just want to do my stuff. Mm-hmm. So it's called a broker associate. It's it's a unique cadre within that group because we have practiced for so many years and we've taken more courses and we've gone to get a different license.
Nice.
Thanks for asking. Most people don't ask that.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you. Thank you. And then let's go back to the other moniker, the urban lifestyle specialist. Where did that come from?
I named myself.
Yes. Yes.
I kept figuring out what is it that I do. And so, oh, golly, there was this very hip bar in Aventura that everybody used to go to. I think it was called Primo something or other. And it was in the Loman Shopping Plaza when Loman's was there. Mm-hmm. And I was at the bar. And so this guy sitting next to me said, what do you do? And I said, I sell the urban lifestyles. And, and he said, oh, no, you shouldn't tell people that. And I went, why would I not tell people that? And he said, that's a negative connotation.
Oh, wow.
And I said, really? I said, well, you do know the dictionary says urban means city. And that's all it really means. I sell the city. I sell the urban lifestyle. So I decided, if people ask you questions as to why, just like you asked, why did you get that name? How did you get that name? So it's definitely a conversation starter. I am different. I am a real estate broker, licensed broker, that I sell the South Florida lifestyle. And that's what I love to do.
And you do it well. You absolutely do it well. And speaking of where we are right now with this market, how has COVID affected your industry?
Oh my gosh. You would think that it's been a negative impact, but it has been a real boom. and the creativity amongst my colleagues and what people are doing. We have salespeople, and it's not for everybody. I have to say that everybody is not equipped. Everybody does not have the ability. And I myself, because of conditions, I didn't go outside for a very long time, but I did everything via phone and via Zoom. But I had to learn how to retool myself to do that. You have to get used to, all of us now, after a year of this. I went on lockdown March the 15th. It's almost March the 15th. So a year ago this time, I was getting ready to go in my house and not come back out for a while. But I have colleagues, and then I have finally come out of my cocoon, and they have done open houses, virtual open houses. They're selling houses from a virtual open house. One person sees a house. People don't think that we do these things, but sight unseen. You do not have to go to the property. People are looking while you walk them through the house, and they say, hey, I'll buy that house, and send wiring the money or putting in the application to buy the house. It's quite amazing. We have been very busy. And I also say, well, we'll talk about the market in a minute, and you can tell how busy we've been despite the lockdown.
Wow. Wow. So I also even read something in the Herald about an influx of homes being purchased here in the South Florida area. Can you speak to that?
So let me say this. I even had to write down a few numbers for you. Last year, just if we're talking about just a single family, last year this time we had 4,300 plus, and I'm only talking Miami-Dade, 4,300 plus homes for sale. February this time we have 1,810. That is a massive reduction, and we went from and these are homes priced under $1 million, but we took a drastic reduction in the inventory. I think we're now down to 2 months of inventory where we had 5 months. A normal inventory is 6 to 9 months. That's considered normal, where it's equal. And when it has shifted at this point, it is truly a seller's market because there's just not a lot of opportunities out here. I have a little video clip from one of my colleagues posted. And it was people in Coral Gables on a couple of Sundays ago for an open house. It was a major traffic jam. And the house was priced over a $1.15 million. That day they received multiple offers. This is a multiple offer situation that we're in right now. They received multiple offers, and 3 of them were cash and full price and over list price. So it is really the average price. Now, I'm going to say this, to me, I don't like this number so much because it gives you a false sense of security. But the average price per square foot last year in February was $212 a square foot. Today, the average price per square foot is $253. So you just take your square footage and multiply it by the size of the houses. And I said, but there's not many houses at $300,000. But we're talking about the norm across Dade, the entire Dade County, all 34 villages, townships, whatever, all those little things that are involved in making up Dade County. So there are opportunities. But gosh, it's a tough market for a buyer in this market, especially for a first-time home buyer. It can be really challenging.
We don't want to be so grim.
Yeah, right. Talk about good stuff.
You can find something. You can.
Oh, yeah.
There is hope.
Yes.
I would say this was how I always shop for my homes. I would get my financial approval first before I started looking, so that if I did find a home, I was just able to put an offer in. And it sounds like that's something that you would recommend in the environment that we're in now.
I highly recommend. First of all, as a real estate agent, I do not take people out who have not been pre-qualified. That's the first part of the conversation when we have an interview is I want to know, have you been pre-qualified? If you have not been pre-qualified, the next thing I do is introduce you to a banker, a mortgage person, someone who can look at your financial picture and say, yes, you are qualified to buy a house, and for how much. Because if you're buying a single family home that's in an HOA, or if you're buying a condominium that has a maintenance, monthly maintenance HOA fee, you have to know what you're qualified to buy and how much of a fee you can actually pay. So can you spend 10% on this and 25% on this? Those are all the little equations that work to help you understand what you can really buy.
Right. And then that can determine where you need to look, because I know a lot of people who are interested in living in a certain neighborhood, but financially you might not be able to.
So I had a note. I had a note here. I was thinking it was, oh, what did I do with it? I thought it was Coconut Grove I wrote down. Oh, yeah. And the Grove, Coconut Grove, remember I just said that per square foot it went from 212 to 253. Well, Coconut Grove went from 384 to 400. So that's a lot of money per square foot. And that's amazing. If you remember the Grove and how things were in Coconut Grove, even in South and Homestead, and I sell all areas. That's something I do want to mention, Jessica. One of the things I do is that I'm not a farmer. There are a lot of agents who farm. They live in a building, they farm the building and the building surrounding them, or they live in one single neighborhood and they farm. I do work with a lot of people who come to town and have a lot of requirements. So it has been to my benefit to understand and know the city well. And I love taking people around and showcasing, that's what I call it, showcasing, and showcasing by taking them to all our different beautiful pockets and say, because when you come here and you really don't know the city, it's rough as hell to be making a decision to spend, say, 300,000, 400,000, whatever the number is that you're going to spend to be able to say, I want to live here. Because when I did not sell real estate, the one thing that happened, I relocated, and I got a lady who, that's a whole nother interview there. Talk about race and sensitivity. Yes, that's a different one. But at any rate, I found a beautiful house I just love in Fort Lauderdale, in the Coral Ridge neighborhood, right near, I could walk to the Galleria. Mm-hmm. I loved it. My office was within, a quarter of a mile. So I was bored to tears most of the time in the evenings. I mean, I go to Las Olas, but gosh, so I put in for a transfer to move. And that's how I wound up in Miami, because I didn't want to live. I didn't understand. I need to learn about where I live and live where I want to live and have a lifestyle and if I have to drive to work, so be it. I don't want to live and work and not be happy at the same time. So that's how I do a lifestyle questionnaire, all that kind of stuff. And I actually interview people to see where they want to go and how do you want to live your life? Okay, you're not at work. What do you want to do? Those are the keys. And that's part of the thing I think that makes me successful too, is trying to understand and really listen to what you're saying.
That's good, Robbie, because some people think that they just need to live close to their job. But and for them, that might be a decision factor for them, that they want to just live close to their job and they're living to work. Then you have other people who think that that's what they want, but then
it doesn't. Right.
It takes someone like you to ask the question so that they can really evaluate their situation to determine what it is that they really need to have.
It's really true. It's very true, because one of the things and I do have people come who say, when they're relocating, I get a lot of people for the University of Miami, and Miami-Dade College. I have a client that just relocated, and he was very specific about how far he wanted to travel. So we did find the right place for him so that he did not, and within his budget, that he did not have to drive. Because, you know, here, it can't, I said, well, I see it's only 17 miles. Well, that could be 17 miles from hell.
Mhm. Absolutely. I had to drive to a client's office in North Miami last week, and I really forgot what it was like driving in traffic.
Yes.
And how it just completely knotted my whole body up. I felt just uneasy, and said, when I got back to my office, I said, I don't miss going to this person and that person to try to have a meeting
At all.
I want to go back to my virtual life and keep going from there, because I don't miss driving in the traffic.
So Zoom, your Zoom boyfriend started looking really good, right?
Okay. Yes. Yes. So tell me about condos. How is the market going for them? Or is it the same as what we're looking at with single family homes?
No, in actuality, that's another great question. Last year, this time, let's say February 2020, we had an abundance of condos. We had over 12 months of inventory, about 12 and a half months. We had 14,000 plus condominiums just in Miami-Dade. Just in Miami-Dade, 14,871 to be precise. And that's all condos. Under $1 million of that 14,000 was 11,897. All right. And then today we are down to 9,400. So now we're down to 8 months of inventory. So remember, 6 to 9 is normal. So it is, let's talk about the virus. The virus has driven people from the east, people from the north, and also the high taxes in California have driven people to Florida. So at one point, we used to get 1,000 people per day coming into Florida, and that was the whole state. So they have a study tells you exactly number. But what I have to do is I have to go back and get you the actual number, and you can talk to the audience again and tell them the number of how many people are moving at any given time. And then they can calculate how many people are coming to Miami-Dade. So now what's really interesting is that homes over $1 million, homes above $5 million. I showed some homes last couple of weeks. Oh, way over $1 million, over $5 million. And they went under contract before I showed the house.
Wow.
So, and let me say this. I want to be clear. I sell $100,000 house and I sell a $10 million house. I really don't quite care. I sell houses. So I don't want anybody to think that, oh, she only does high end. I get that all the time. And they say that's what I thought. I do lease, I do rentals, I do whatever, it's all about the transaction. It's all about the number of transactions. It's all about the business, which leads me to this. And I'm going to come back to the condos. I want to be clear that a real estate agent does not work for the company. Whatever banner I wear, my name badge says Berkshire Hathaway Home Services, It says EWM. It says Keller Williams. A real estate agent does not work for the company. They are independent contractors. You're engaging that person under that banner. And so they have strict rules about how they have to operate under that banner. But please believe me, I am a Black-owned business. You have to, some people just don't realize that is the case. That actually is the case. And we have we pay our expenses, and we get that 1099, and we got to go file our independent taxes.
Condos.
Yes, yes. So now, what we have right now, I would like to say some of the opportunities I'm finding. And especially everybody thinks Brickell's so hoity-toity and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of opportunities in Brickell. There's a lot of opportunities in the Edgewater neighborhood. You know, those are the spots where people really like to be because and Midtown. The price points are attainable. You may not have the direct water view or a water view, but you can certainly live in some of the very nice buildings. We are down to 12.6 months of inventory from just Miami-Dade. We had 21.6 months last year in February. So that was 1,822 condos just in the Brickell. There's 3 zip codes, 33130, 31, oh yeah, and 29 that make up the Brickell market. And now that's down to 1,590. So I've seen luxury and a luxury building, a $350,000 one bedroom that's 1,097 square feet with a water view. So, you know, there are opportunities to be had. Condominium is a little bit different if you're buying for investment purposes. Remember, you have to have 25% down. You know, when you're talking the mortgage thing, that's a whole different. If you're an investor, you must put down minimum 25%. When you're buying a single family home and you're living in the home, you could be anywhere on the spectrum from 3 to 5 to 10 to 20%.
Mm-hmm. What about investment opportunities? How is that market looking for duplexes, quadruplex, things like that?
Well, I did look at the duplex market, the triplex, and the fourplex. When you're talking about residential, it would be 4 units or less. If you go above 4 units, then it becomes a commercial transaction. And you lose the benefit with that because there are benefits to being an owner in a duplex, a triplex, and living in the property versus having everything, because then you're there and you get a certain percentage of tax deduction. You get a certain percentage of, I forgot the other thing that goes with it, but there are benefits to being an owner living on the property.
Owner occupied.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of the units.
Now, before we leave, I want you to please tell some of the Black women who are looking at our broadcast right now, give them some sound advice before we leave from Robbie Bell, the urban lifestyle specialist.
Well, in which respect do you want me to go? I mean, you know, I've got so many.
Come from your heart. Just come from your heart.
Oh, look it. So I really want to say I am so excited I'm here. I am so excited that I am here to tell the story that I am still here. I'm 75 and I love what I do. I think for every woman, you have to find what's in you. And once you discover that light that makes you so happy and makes you charge. I was up at 4:30 this morning because I thought of something I needed to do, and gives you energy. This is the thing that has to make you happy. If you're and you know, I was on my damn job 32 years. And I thought I really liked that job. I didn't like all the crap that went with it, but I certainly thought it was a cool job because I was doing something that most women didn't do, let alone a Black woman. I was in the shipping business for 32 years, ocean transportation. And then to come and step out and find an occupation, a whole new career, a whole new life. Be happy, y'all. That's all I can tell you. Be happy. You got to be happy. You have to find that one moment of happiness that's going to carry you through. That's it.
From Robbie's heart to your ears, viewers.
Yes.
Be happy. Find what gets you going. Thank you, Robbie, so much for joining us. Please keep us up to date with any of the things that the market is doing, because I believe it's going to continue to shift. It might shift back to a buyer's market. Who knows? But just keep us in the loop, will you please?
I would be honored. And anybody want to call me, they can. I can give my number. 305-528-8557. That's 305-528-8557. 8557. I'm on Twitter. Yes, I have a Twitter account. I'm on Facebook, a Messenger. I'm trying to keep up with all those things. And I can be reached at Robbie@RobbieBell.com. Jessica,
and we'll make sure we put this in the chat at the bottom so that you all have it and you can click on it. What were you going to say, Robbie? I'm sorry.
I just want to thank you so much for the opportunity to share. I'm so excited. Well, obviously, you know I'm excited to be here. People, I love Miami. I sell Miami. I sell the lifestyle.
That's right.
Happy.
That's right. Well, come back tonight, people. We're going to be live with My 2 Cents right here on The Culture at 6 p.m. Thank you so much for joining us for another edition of The Culture. We'll see you next time.
The Culture is produced and owned by Hip Rockstar Media and cannot be reproduced or broadcast without written consent by Jessica Garrett Modkins. All rights reserved 2020.